So, at kind of the basis of green political thought is our four pillars. So these pillars guide the Green Party. They essentially define what green politics is, at least in some sense, right? There's a lot of details you can dig into, but on the high level, green politics is these four pillars: peace and nonviolence, ecology, social justice, which includes many different things, including economic justice, and of course, democracy, which we specifically mean a very grassroots, participatory type of democracy, not the representative style necessarily that we see today, where elected officials are more beholden to money and corporations, and they don't listen to us. You vote once every 4 years, and then they don't care. They run off. That's not the type of democracy that we're talking about in the Green Party. We're talking about making sure that everyone is at the table. Everyone has a say in decision making that affects their lives, and everyone can participate in the process in discussing those issues, discussing potential solutions, and then of course implementing them. So these four pillars kind of define what green politics is, and they help guide us in the Green Party when we're considering what actions to take or what policies to support. We look at, does that policy fit with these four pillars? Does that action fit with these four pillars? And then we go from there. The four pillars are often expanded into what's known as the 10 key values. So you can also look on the Green Party website for the full 10 key values that, in addition to these four, include concepts like decentralization, feminism, community-based economics, and things like that. And one way that I like to think about it is that those 10 key values are kind of defining different aspects of what we mean, not only by green politics, but also by what we mean by eco-socialism. We mean that, everyone is involved. We're looking for peace and nonviolence. We're looking for a way to live ecologically with nature, but also to promote, feminism and gender equity, the community-based economics, where well, not to go too far in details because there's a whole one-on-one presentation on eco-socialism coming, but community-based economics where we're talking to each other and we have community control over the economy instead of big billionaires controlling the economy. So those 10 key values are a way to kind of expand and think about green politics too. But the four pillars is simple. Yeah. Any thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, and so in 2017, I started running an education program for the Young Eco-Socialists, which are the youth caucus of the National Party. If you're under 35, you should go to yesgp.org and get signed up. I probably wouldn't be here in 2022 presenting on the Green Party had it not been for Yes and the great community that there is there. I've unfortunately aged out. I'm still a senior advisor, but I'm no longer youth. So there you go. But one of the first workshops that we did was actually a two-parter, and we went through the 10 key values and talked about how none of the capitalism could not abide by any of them. And the same is true for the four pillars. And I've done workshops on the need for the Green Party to be an eco-socialist party. And one of the parts of those workshops is always talking about our values, right? Capitalism can't abide by peace, right? It needs new markets. And conflict comes when you're expanding in markets in a finite system like we are. Capitalism is destroying the planet. Do we really even need to go into why capitalism isn't ecological? Capitalism depends on othering and oppression. That is the root of social justice. And especially in America, especially in the United States with our first past the post two-party system, there's nothing democratic about the U.S. Capitalist electoral system, right? So while the party has kind of evolved into this open claim of eco-socialism, it's been there since day one. Socialists like Howie have literally been there since day one, leading the party. But when you look at our values, they are broad-based language values, right? They're vision statements. So they can be twisted and turned a lot of different ways. But when you look at these values through through the filter of capitalism, what you find is that the Green Party has always been a socialist party at its core, because capitalism can abide by absolutely none of the key values. So, for a long time it seemed like a fight, and now from internally in the party, it doesn't feel like a fight anymore. We're an eco-socialist party, and there's really no pushback. And I think the reason was the fight was all propaganda based and conditioning based. And then once we made the declaration and people started actually thinking about it and looking at what we meant when we said eco-socialism, they went, oh, well, if that's what you mean, we've always been eco-socialists, right? It really wasn't a stretch. It wasn't anything forced on a party. It was the proper labeling of ourselves. So, yeah,
definitely. So speaking of that, our next few slides here are a quick overview of what the history of the Green Party is, and talking, like Chris said, about how the Green Party has always been kind of an eco-socialist party.